Welcome back to another episode of Psychonaut Sessions, ladies and gentlemen. Your home for all things psycho. This is your host, Daniel Moeller. We are going today cover Dark Adventures number 2 from Darkline Comics, starring Dark Angel. Angel and the Bad Man. Look at this amazing cover. I had no idea what was going on at first. Actually only looking at this on the screen did I get the full picture of what was happening, but we got this great cover by Pat Gabriel, and look, the lights on this vehicle, we got wings. He's Dark Angel. Isn't that great? Very New York City Outlaws sort of feel. New York City Outlaws was another comic from the 80s. It was really the launching pad of quote-unquote outlaw comics. I would say this is kind of a more of a power comic than outlaw. For any of you that know those terms, we need a comic book historian. I will volunteer for this, if nobody else will, to kind of make a classification of all these terms and really get the ages down of comic book history. Here we are, 1986, 87, 1987, 86, 87, somewhere around there. You would think I would know exactly. But Darkline number 1, or Dark Adventures number 1, we talked about Pat Gabriel was actually a wrestler. He was a comic book artist as well. He did a lot of work. He did some work for Marvel in other areas, a lot of independent stuff, but he was a wrestler, and his persona was Dark Angel, and this is the comic book line that he created to help promote that, as well as a bunch of other comics that he helped try to get a good start on. Cecil Kunkel number 1, which is kind of a cartoon segment in here by Chris Wagner. Is that right? Charles Wagner. And so it's going to have its own number 1. I may cover that in the near future. Darkline's also got advertising Dark Adventures number 3, which I'll be covering later as well, and then a whole new comic called Alpha Wave. So really trying to launch his own endeavor here, which was the time to do it in that black and white kingdom of 1980s comic books. We got an alleyway, we've got some heavy screen tone, newspaper flying around, Dark Angel segment, part 2. We have Dark Angel talking, he's not talking, he's standing on top of this newspaper, case thrown out of court, a mockery, DA says. So there's corruption in the cities, ladies and gentlemen. I think I talked about this before in the last one. Pat Gabriel's work in this book, especially Dark Angel, is like Ken Landgraf mixed with Jack Kirby. So Ken Landgraf is the individual I talked about earlier who started New York City Outlaws, and Jack Kirby, if you don't know who Jack Kirby is, I don't know what you're doing on this channel. You need to go do your work. But I see Pat Gabriel as a good solid mix between the two, because you're going to see here, especially the areas of action, he's got that Jack Kirby energy and some of the blockiness of the characters, but this is pure Landgraf. This New York City scene, we've got alleyways, trash. So here basically this homeless person who's a friend of Dark Angel is saying, hey, that is my newspaper, give it back. He's like, I didn't know, I didn't realize, whatever. And they're chatting away, and we suddenly get this car with blaring headlights zooming in on Dark Angel and trying to take him out. Obviously some bad guys, but this is Dark Angel we're talking about here. And this is where some of that like Kirby action comes in. Breaks his hand into the window. Love this. It's just like excellent. He moves so fast that the window's not completely shattering, just that one little spot. Pulls the guy right out, and boom, that's a punch to the face. And that is rough. Love it. That's a very Kirby-ish sort of face, I would say. Here and here. So we got a couple of different scenarios going on in this comic, and it got very confusing. We got this bad guy who we don't know is his face. He's the big boss who's wanted to take out Dark Angel, and then we have the cops and the commissioner grilling his roommate who we thought died last time, and Dark Angel was going to go out on revenge. It looked like he was just a bloody pulp on the floor, and Dark Angel wasn't even touching him. He was just like ready to go out and kick some bad guy ass. So it really seemed like he was dead last time. So spoiler, he's not. He's just injured. His friend works for the FBI and knows that Dark Angel is a vigilante. The cops know that Dark Angel is a vigilante, lives in the same apartment as this guy who's an FBI agent, and so they're grilling him. And so kind of a conflict of interest. I don't know what's happening here. But then we get a flashback to Angel's apartment, and the cops are going to just examine, investigate the apartment, and they light flash on this individual. They assume it's Dark Angel himself, and so there's this weird flashingness going on. We don't really get to see who he is, and so they just decide to shoot, which is weird. It's just like, okay, if you won't give us ID, we're just gonna shoot. So they shoot him right in the fucking face, and somehow this figure absorbs that gun. And I didn't understand what was happening until I had to read it a couple times. And so that figure, when getting shot, teleports out into the alley and scares a couple of homeless guys or guys that are partying in the alley away. Flashback to Dark Angel, who's sneaking into the big boss's apartment to, or not apartment building, whatever, to take him out. There's no clear transition. It just moves from one, so it's a lot of information just packed into from panel to panel to panel. So really difficult. I really love the effect of the screen tone here, and with this cop, who's kind of sitting in this little igloo of glass, which I assume is supposed to be a cop car, and then we get this officer kind of popping out Kirby style of this door into the commissioner's office, and was like, hey, he was, glowing and absorbed the gunshots. And they're like, are you crazy? It's like, this is exactly what happened. And of course his roommate's like, that's not Dark Angel style. If they would have attacked him, they wouldn't even be standing. He would have just attacked them back. So this figure is not Dark Angel. So we've got this other figure in play. Anyway, we get now a series of fight scenes of Dark Angel infiltrating the big boss's penthouse suite, and so taking out some guards. Some fun little scenes here. I was slightly disappointed because we actually get a build-up of this huge giant colossus guy. And Dark Angel at this point almost seems like he's invulnerable, right? He gets hit head on by a car and he just walks away from it like it's nothing. So he starts punching this dude and it's nothing. And he's even surprised. He's like, oh my god. So you're thinking this is going to be a huge thing, right? Because Dark Angel's invulnerable. He's got super strength. It's not really clear what his powers are, but he's a badass. His power is he's a badass. I mean, look, he's got a neck collar. He's a badass. And this guy's ready to take him on, and we just get this off-panel bam, crash, kapow, and then that was him taking him out. How disappointing. I would have loved to have seen that. I don't know what's happening here. I read this a couple times. I'm confused, and apparently somebody hung themselves. I mean, is that this guy and he strung him up? I don't. So we have dangling feet. Whatever. So he's getting ready to go into the penthouse, and the big boss is on a TV just saying, haha, fooled you, I'm escaping. And he's at the top, and so you can't see the big boss's face. He's on the top of the penthouse in a helicopter getting ready to speed away. Looks like a little toy helicopter. More globy screen tone stuff. So they see Dark Angel, and apparently he's just standing there. And they shoot at him. That's what those are, bullets hitting against the side of the, like the ridge of the roof. And nothing's hitting him. And they're like, what the hell? And he's just staring at us. He's just staring, and apparently it blows up. And I guess he thought of it blowing up and says, guess I'll never know who the big man was, the big boss. I guess we won't know either. And he's like, big shit. And is walking away. I gotta slip past the cops again. And while he's leaving, this weird, mysterious figure that kind of looks like him manifests. Big shit. Okay. And that's it. It's Dark Angel. Next, we get Kunkel, but it's like Dark Kunkel, because not Cecil Kunkel, but Dark Angel, Dark Kunkel. Fun little cartoon about a superhero who looks like Dark Angel. And now pronouncing man and wife, so he's living with his wife. Let's own our little bungalow, just like the movies. And then so he's experiencing his wife. You know, this dump was full of comic books. I ran them down to the disposal. Ooh, press your own stupid super suit. I ain't no dry cleaners. How come you never spend an evening home with the kids? And of course he's like, I used to wonder why Superman never married Lois Lane. Wah, wah. Yep. Thank you, Charles Wagner. Fun little cartoons. Next, Sundog. So this is a comic by Stan Timmons. Don't really know much about him, but we do have finishes by Pat Gabriel. So he did the inks on here. I really actually love Pat Gabriel's inks a ton. So here we get some alien figure that looks like he's kind of sort of out of an old Scorsese movie, but he is an alien. This is an alien planet. There's a ship coming down, and he's getting ready to leave to go find his destiny, but it's just like a shipping, like a container ship. Like they just, and he really, so he's saying goodbye to his mom. His dad won't say goodbye because he's hurting too much, but this is his shipmate. And they leave, and it's basically, and thinking that they're going to go find riches and glory, but it's basically he cleans out latrines and crap like that on the ship. So it's like really crappy. Him and his buddy just sit around and play cards in their spare time, but apparently the captain over the school sound system, that's what it looks like, makes an announcement that he had some people go AWOL. I think the cook. And so if anybody can go down planet side and pick him up, then, you know, it'd be great to bring him back. There's a reward. So apparently off panel he goes and captures the cook and brings him back and like, hey, there was a reward. So they're planet side again, and they're talking at a bar. Look, there's Popeye in the background. Kind of fun. Popeye on an alien planet. And he's deciding, you know, he's kind of, there's a little bit of a bar fight, but he decides he wants to be like a sort of bounty hunter or something that starts, you know, looking for other individuals. So he leaves the ship. His buddy decides to stay on the ship. They give each other a big old hug. And he has to go and register with some sort of bounty hunting bureau and abide by all of these different guidelines, and has this miniature robot that follows him around that has to make sure that he adheres to these guidelines of bounty hunting, and also is the robot that will let him know what subjects he can go after, and blah blah blah. So anyway, we get a little bit of a scene here where we see one of his first moments of trying to tackle and get one of his first what is it, clients, his bounty, whatever. And he keeps asking for the little robot dude for help, And he's like, well, I can only assist you with finding the subject, but I can't help you in the actual pursuit itself. It's law. It's like, whatever. So he's in this gunfight, and decides, what the heck, he's going to grab the robot guy and actually throw him, use him as a weapon. And that's how he ends up taking the guy out, because he threw the robot, and even though he couldn't shoot anything, I guess, but throwing the robot knocked the gun out of the dude's hand, and blah, blah, blah. And that's the beginning. Next, of his adventures. Get some ads for Dark Adventures here. And then next we get Shikari by Marty Edwards, inked by Pat Gabriel. And so really we just have this really buff looking, top knotted ninja looking guy who's meditating and remembering. It's your typical story, right? He's young, he has a sensei, his sensei gets killed, and now the thing that killed his sensei is returning, and he's gonna fight them. So all these crazy ninja looking dudes headed up by this demon bad guy who killed his sensei is coming to get him, and we get a little bit of a fight scene. That's kind of fun. I really love this panel. Tons of fun there, but not really understanding exactly everything that's going on in the action, but that's fine. And is about ready to take out this demon guy, and something happens where, and he's not even sure, there's some sort of like glowing circle that takes effect and starts absorbing him, and the main bad guy starts coming through another portal, but he gets absorbed into this weird circle thing that's not really explained and gets teleported elsewhere. And he's like, no! And so the main big bad is basically making a statement that he's going to hunt him down. So it's kind of the end. It's kind of a sort of a prologue, I guess, for future items. So kind of cool. Wish it could have been a little bit longer and filled out a little bit more, but that's fine. I mean, I like ninjas, samurai kind of stuff. Who doesn't, right? Kind of a fun use of screen tone in some areas. I didn't comment on this. This reminds me of like old G.I. Joe kind of fight scenes. I really enjoy that, or Daredevil sort of stuff. Our ad for Cecil Kunkel #1 coming soon to my mailbox, and an ad for Alpha Wave. So there you go. Darkline, trying to make it happen. Thank you, Pat Gabriel. We will be taking a look at Dark Adventures number 3 and 4 as well. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, like and subscribe and keep it psycho.